a tiny moth drifted across the living room. Olivia barely noticed it. Her cat, Mochi, noticed immediately. 1 second, Mochi was ignoring the brand new toy Olivia had been waving around for the last minute. The next, she was frozen, eyes locked, body lowered. Every bit of her attention had shifted to that tiny fluttering speck near the window. The expensive toy, completely forgotten. Olivia even tried dragging it right past Mochi's paws. Nothing. The moth won. So what just happened? Was Mochi being picky? Did she suddenly decide the toy wasn't interesting anymore? Or was she noticing something Olivia couldn't? That last question is much closer to the truth. Because one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about cats is assuming they experience the same room we do. They don't. The colors are different, the details are different. Even the things their brain decides are important can be completely different. And once you understand what your cat is actually seeing, a surprising number of weird cat behaviors suddenly become much easier to explain. The staring, the sudden pouncing, the obsession with objects you'd never notice yourself. But before we come back to Mochi and that moth, there's one part of cat vision almost everyone gets wrong. 1. Your cat doesn't see a colorful world. They see a useful one. Humans pay a lot of attention to color. Bright toys, red blankets, blue food bowls. We often assume our cats notice those things the same way. They don't. Cats can see color, just not the same range we do. Their world is made mostly of blues, muted yellows, and grays. Many reds and oranges simply don't stand out very much. That doesn't mean your cat sees in black and white. It means color isn't their brain's top priority. Instead, they rely much more on contrast and movement. That's why you might buy a bright red toy, only to watch your cat spend 20 minutes chasing an old gray shoelace instead. They're not rejecting your gift. Their eyes are simply paying attention to something different. And that explains why Mochi ignored the expensive toy almost instantly. Because for a cat, movement usually matters far more than color. 2. Your cat isn't looking for details. They're looking for movement. Think about watching birds outside your window. The moment one suddenly takes off, your eyes follow it. Movement naturally grabs attention. For cats, that instinct is even stronger. Their vision evolved to detect tiny changes. A mouse rustling through grass, a bird taking flight, the flick of a tail. Those movements mattered far more than fine detail. That's why a perfectly still toy can lose its appeal so quickly. The moth didn't. It drifted, changed direction, paused, moved again. Exactly the kind of unpredictable motion a hunting brain is built to notice. You can see this around the house too. A curtain sways. Your cat looks up. A shadow moves across the floor. They follow it. Sometimes owners think their cat is staring at nothing. More often, they're noticing movement we completely missed. Which brings us back to Mochi. Olivia thought the toy wasn't interesting enough. Mochi wasn't judging the toy. She was simply following the movement that mattered more. And that leads to another belief about cat vision that's only partly true. 3. Your cat doesn't see in complete darkness. We've all heard it. Cats can see in the dark. Not exactly. Cats have excellent low-light vision, far better than ours. Their eyes gather much more available light, making dawn, dusk, and dim rooms much easier to navigate. But complete darkness is different. Without any light at all, your cat can't see any better than you can. So why do they move around the house so confidently at night? Because they aren't relying on vision alone. Cats combine sight with hearing, whiskers, and an excellent memory of familiar spaces. By nighttime, your cat usually isn't exploring. They're following a route they already know. That's why they can stroll through a dark hallway, while we're trying to remember where the coffee table was 5 minutes ago, which brings us back to Mochi. As the room grew darker, she never lost track of the tiny moth. And that makes much more sense once you understand what your cat is actually paying attention to when they look at the world. 4. Your cat is reading your eyes more than you think. A few seconds after the moth landed, Olivia looked back at Mochi. Instead of watching the insect, Mochi was watching her. It almost felt like Mochi was trying to read her mind. Not exactly. But cats do pay close attention to eyes. Not because they understand every human emotion, but because eyes reveal intentions. Relaxed eyes usually signal safety. A hard stare can feel much more threatening. Cats are constantly judging whether an interaction feels calm or whether it's about to change. That's why many cats respond to the famous slow blink. When a cat slowly closes their eyes around you, they're briefly lowering their guard. It's less like saying, "I love you," and more like saying, "I feel safe enough to relax." If you slowly blink back, many cats respond in kind, because you've returned the same calm signal. The opposite is true as well. A long, unbroken stare can make many cats uncomfortable, so they'll often look away instead. It's a small interaction, but one cats notice much more than most people realize. And their eyes reveal one more clue people often misunderstand. Their pupils. 5. Bigger pupils. Don't always mean the same thing. One moment your cat's pupils are narrow. The next, they're huge. It's easy to assume that means fear. Not always. Pupil size changes with light, but also with play, surprise, curiosity, and intense focus. Picture Mochi crouching before chasing the moth. Her pupils widen, her body freezes. She isn't necessarily frightened. She's preparing to move. And in that stillness, even the smallest detail in the room suddenly matters more than anything else. A shift in sound, a flicker of motion. Everything gets processed at once. Now imagine a loud noise in the kitchen. The pupils may become just as large, for a completely different reason. That's why you should never judge your cat's mood from the eyes alone. Look at the ears, the tail, the posture. Together they tell the real story. Leave a comment and let us know. What's the strangest thing you've ever caught your cat staring at that you couldn't see? If this is changing the way you see your cat, click the button and join us. A lot of everyday cat behaviors make much more sense once you start looking at the world through your cat's eyes. Because what Olivia was about to notice next was something Mochi had been reacting to the entire time. 6. Your cat isn't missing the world. They're experiencing a different one. When Olivia finally looked toward the window, the moth had landed on the glass. It was barely moving. She probably wouldn't have noticed it without Mochi. Suddenly, the whole moment made sense. Mochi hadn't ignored the expensive toy. Her eyes had simply decided something else mattered more. Movement before color, contrast before detail, useful information before beautiful information. That's the real perspective shift. People often ask, "What does my cat see?" A better question is, what does my cat notice? Your cat isn't experiencing a smaller world, just a different one. The flick of an insect, a moving shadow, a curtain swaying. Those tiny moments often matter far more than the colorful things we notice ourselves. Once Olivia stopped expecting Mochi to see the room the way she did, those strange little behaviors stopped feeling random. They became reminders that sharing the same home doesn't always mean sharing the same view. I should go. My cat has been staring very seriously at a completely empty wall for the last 5 minutes, and I'd like to believe he's just seeing something interesting, not interviewing the ghosts. Let's talk again next time. FurEver.